Okay, here we are. And it's Tuesday. Tuesday it is, yes. All right. Lots of things going on. This isn't over by any means. The saddest part of it is that so few Americans will probably ever understand. And many of you abroad already get it because you've been put through these kinds of things before. But most Americans will not accept or be able to mentally synthesize the reality that the planning of what's going on now goes way back. Ultimately, it goes back at least 100 years. It's all about that word that many liberals can't begin to understand. Communism. It's all about communism. Soviet States of America is the goal of communism. Right? Agenda 21. Communism. This has been planned and funded for a long, long time. The riot's going on right now. If you go to the top of the site, you'll see I wrote a couple paragraphs up there to introduce you to the website. It's one, and there are probably many other companies that are essentially rent a riot, rent a mob, highly organized and sophisticated businesses. It's right there. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to connect those dots. I mean, it's right there in front of you. But yes, nothing is left to chance. Nothing of any significance is allowed just to sort of bumble along. These things are all planned and plotted. I'm not talking about down to the very minute detail of somebody throwing a Molotov cocktail. No, but the larger picture, which I implore everyone to continue to try to keep in mind. Pull back. When you think you've got it figured out, pull back. Look at the bigger picture. This is all by design. This is a color revolution, and we're real close to having a civil war here, which will happen if they have decided that that's what they want. It will happen. And the easiest way to trigger a civil war is to go to a riot situation with a couple of snipers with silencers and shoot a few cops, shoot a few rioters, shoot both sides, and watch what happens. They tried this very same thing, and it worked in Kiev, Ukraine. They shot people on both sides. So anyhow, it's all a science. It's not a guessing game. It's not anything less than an art. And when you have supercomputers, AI-assisted, if not AI-run, modeling all of these things, they know plus or minus 1 or 2% what's going to happen. No matter what they do, they've got the results before they even launch it. The people now have been dumbed down so much that they are pathetically predictable. The people in the larger sense of the word, not you individuals who understand. The masses, those useless eaters that Henry Kissinger used to talk about. Those people are so easily handled and manipulated, it's not funny. Crazy times out there.
Well, crazy, but expectable. You know, we expected something happen beyond the midterm of the Trump presidency, that the Obama people, along with various terrorist organizations and gangsters, you know, prison convicts,
communists, terrorists,
all kinds
convicts.
of, the leftists, the anarchists, the deranged, you know, people with psychiatric disorders who they've recruited.
And then the tragically
white criminals
ignorant,
are riffraff.
The tragically ignorant Generation Z. Dumb.
Oh yeah, zero.
Dumb,
Generation
dumb.
Zero. Yeah, exactly the point. Yeah. So we got a bundle on our hands, but and we can get into this whole gang history in Minneapolis. It all goes back to the Democratic Party. Was the Democratic Farmer Labor Alliance, which was always funded by the Jewish criminals, you know, starting from the successors to the Purple Gang. You remember the St. Valentine's Day Massacre?
That goes, yes. Yeah, that's a piece of
well,
history.
that's the roots of this Democratic Party of Minnesota, which gave us the likes of Hubert Humphrey. He was the big warmonger who wanted to exceed Lyndon B. Johnson. And he was the one who got nominated at the Chicago Convention. And his warmongering ripped the country apart. Of course, everyone in college had to oppose him because he was just preparing to slaughter every young American over in Vietnam besides committing genocide. Yeah. Then his successor, Walter Mondale, who was totally Crime Inc. with Columbia Records, and he was with this Jacob, is a flower, is a big grain company, Burton Jacob, big grain company in Minnesota. And these were all basically mafia organizations, okay, Jewish mafia. They all came out in the Purple Gang. And so he was very deeply tied in, and that's how he got the nomination, if you recall, because I was at the Democratic convention when they nominated him. I was a delegate there with the Asian American caucus, and I was the only one in the caucus who supported Gary Hart. Okay, Gary Hart was the only man who might have been able to stop Ronald Reagan, right? Because he was a Westerner.
Yeah, they took him down.
You remember him, right? They took him down, right? The Jewish media down in Miami took him down on that boat when he was with Warren Beatty on there, and he was divorced. I mean, it was a woman in her 30s that was aboard. And, of course, Hart was married, but his wife had cancer at the time. He hadn't,
they made him look like a lout and just a rotten guy.
Which he was. He was just set up, and a big deal today. Look at what Clinton's done, or any of the others have done since. So anyway, what happened at the convention is that Hart had a chance, but only if we could have stopped the majority vote for Mondale. Okay, you had to have 2/3 vote to get the nomination. Then Jesse Jackson, we begged him, you've got to stop the vote. We've got to have, don't let this crook, warmongering fool Mondale be joining up with Jimmy Carter. The country's going to go down the tubes. And then Jesse Jackson had such a big ego. He says, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to win this thing. What a fool. And so Mondale swept in on the first vote, and that was all she wrote. And then Mondale, of course, that was like just a criminal operation. I'm sure Jesse Jackson, got his share of the loot. So
sure he did.
Mafia.
Oh, sure, they take care of course.
Paid off.
Yeah.
Because it made no tactical sense. Politically, from that point on, I knew Jesse Jackson was a crook on the tape. And no way ever deal with him again. No way. He's just an outright crook. So this is the politics we're seeing now from convention in 1980s. We're seeing the degeneration of the Democratic Party. It was bad then, but it has gotten to be a nightmare now, where it's a totally criminalized organization. If I can just mention some of the supporters of the Democratic Party in Minnesota who got Ilhan, what's her name, Omar elected.
Omar.
Got this mayor, what's his name, Frey, elected.
Yeah. Fry.
Okay, let me go down a list of some of the support groups. The Serenos 13, okay? The Votos Locos, the Latin Kings, the Emerson Murder Boys, the Four Crips, the Trey Crips, okay? The 19 Block Dipset, Lowry Boys, and we got way down below here, and the largest mafia of all in Minneapolis and St. Paul, the Somalis. The Somali
250,000, and they got a mafia going on?
They got an army of Islamic fanatics there, okay? This is you wonder what's going on in the streets. They're all just total criminality and the political agenda backing the Islamic State, ISIS, backing Al-Qaeda, okay? The World Trade Center, these people who cheered the World Trade Center, okay? When Black Hawk down, this was their national identity, right? We blew out the American Special Forces, okay? The Clinton idiotic intervention there. These are the people who are the enemies of America, a plant right there in the heart of America. This was the Swedish state, right? And but what happened? And a long story short, and I'll write some more about this. That the Jewish communities in northern Minneapolis, they were basically the prohibition people. And I've written one article about how they were the ones who had the monopoly on Seagram's booze from the Bronfman operation, Samuel Bronfman. And I met Samuel Bronfman. He was kind of a gentleman, but he was a total gangster, okay? And they were shipping that to Al Capone. And then when an Irish gang got there, they lined.
So the Bronfmans, see, it's all tied together. You can't talk about the mafia unless you talk about the Jews. You can't.
So they're the ones financing it all. They're totally involved in this. Why are the Jews with the Islamic terrorists? Yeah, I mean, because it's about business. It's about takeover. It's about real estate. You burn out the downtown real estate, you can buy it cheap. You scare all the white people away, and you can buy it on them. And then you can gentrify and kick all the blacks out. This is how smart the blacks are, right? They don't get a penny. They just get a bunch of drugs, which is always, just like the jazz musician in Harlem. They get paid in cash. They got paid in Billie Holiday. They paid her in heroin. That's what killed her. They get rid of it. The blacks are just expendable.
Wow. Oh, yeah, always. And they'll be the last to figure it out if they ever do.
Yeah. So I will write you more detailed naming names, bank looting. And then one of the things is that Oberman, he is the leading finance bank.
Now, who is this? Okay. You need to turn your
he's in Minnesota.
Turn your phone. Okay. Stay right on your phone. All right.
Vance Oberman, Jewish banker, okay?
Right.
Owns a TCF bank, okay? And then he had to sell it off quick, all right? Because what happened is that the U.S. Treasury caught him in Des Moines, Iowa, banking for all the Islamic terrorist organizations, they're passing money. So they said that, it was illegal banking with in terrorist finance. This is a Jewish guy, okay? The Democratic Party of Minnesota. They're in league. You see, it's all criminal, You wonder why the Palestinians go nowhere? They're just sold out by the other Muslims, the terrorists. The terrorists, they have no interest in their poor Palestinian brothers in what was used to be Palestine. They're on a reservation there called the West Bank. They don't care about them. They're gangsters. They're lining their pockets. Okay, so this is the reality of beautiful Minneapolis. Now, just one more point of background, because we have to be a little bit sociological about this. And the abolition of the police coming up. They're going. They're the what do you call it? The city council. 9 out of 12 city council members, led by this crazy radical feminist who studied at UC Berkeley. She got her master's there. Came back.
Her name's Bender.
Bender, yeah, Lisa Bender, yeah, bend over, it's more like it, So they let me see, where was I now? I got.
Well, he's talking about the city council. 9 out of 12 members of the city council.
They get rid of law enforcement. Rid of law enforcement there, and turn the whole system back. Now, this is the backgrounder, though. In 2018, 2 years ago, right, the crime rate spiked 58% over the previous year.
In Minneapolis. People don't know this.
In Minneapolis,
please pay attention.
Throughout the city, throughout the city. And Minneapolis, as you know, it's like a city of woods and lakes. It's very spread out, okay? But they estimate it's a huge city, very, very spread out. It's not really a high-rise. It's a very low-rise city, not very many people per acre. Per square mile, there were 367 crimes committed, serious crimes of assault, against people and against property. These are all like felonious crimes committed. That's one crime per day, okay? And maybe 1,000 people, at most, I mean, incredible crime rate. They're preying on the local people, mainly the Swedish and all that, and poor Jews and poor middle-class blacks. They're being preyed on by these gangs. This is gangland in control, and this is something I mentioned about the Minnesota Mafia that was, allied with Al Capone.
You can look under Yoshi's name in guests, and you'll see the essay that was most recently written about the Purple Gang and what's going on now that he's talking about. It's all there.
Yeah, I apologize for some of the typos and grammaticals because my computer is going down after a long service.
Don't worry about it.
So, But I'm getting you. I'll be fixing it again, Niman, so I'll get this thing back up. But I just had to rush that out and do it as an email, not as a Word program.
Oh,
it was
excellent.
a bit of a mess, but who cares, right? In this crisis, the place is burning. Now, one thing, I'm in Florida. Yesterday out downtown, I met many black people. They were ashamed. They were of what happened. They were sort of, I asked them, was anything happening around? They're all very quiet and whispering. They're terrorized. They're terrorized by these young thugs. Okay?
See, and that's the majority of American blacks. They're just ashamed. They're frightened. They really are intimidated by these, you call them young thugs. A lot of people have their own terms, but you're correct. A lot of American blacks, in fact, 40% of American blacks will support Trump right now. They believe in this country. They understand that there is opportunity here. And if we lose the country, it's over. Done.
Yeah.
Gone.
Well, like I know, one of my friends has a business. I know the gardener. They're really good, hard-working black brother, maybe 60 years old,
Yeah.
His own son stole his gardening truck to commit an armed robbery. I mean, he was heartbroken. He just felt, ashamed. He couldn't do anything to stop them. Okay.
See, that's a sad story. That's another sad story.
He couldn't control his own son. They're just totally out of control because they want drugs. They want the Nikes. So my one thing that I'm going to lobby for is to ban hip hop. I'm going to just say any radio station, and any online thing that does hip hop, I'm going after you. I'm going after you.
Look at the message. What's the message in it? Hate,
kill people, rob people,
kill, rob, rape.
And rape.
Oh yeah, it's all there.
Take drugs, do whatever you want. So loot stores. I mean, this is worse than ghetto culture. It's garbage culture, and it's got to be stopped. And young black people. And I say that, and as you read my article, I grew up near the Watts area. I was there during the rebellion. My cousin was shot 6 times by the National Guard because he was in a black band. He played saxophone in a soul band. Was with his brothers, and then Sam Yorty announced he's going to invade the black community. And then he had just been in Japan a year earlier visiting me. We went around U.S. bases, talked to GIs, and he knew from the GIs what search and destroy was just mass murder, right? So he came back and he told his black brothers, we got to hit Culver City to let them know if they attack the black community, we're not going to fight here. We're not going to defend our homes. We're going to take down the rest of L.A. And that action, it got him killed, but it did stop what would have been an American bloodbath, okay? So so he was a hero in the eyes of the community. So his name was Yoichi Shimatsu. He was a great guy and really wonderful fellow. Like, I call him a gym guy. I was in boxing. I was in boxing. What do you call it?
Sparring partner.
Sparring partner. Oh man, seeing stars getting beat up. But it toughened me up because I was in public school and I was being assaulted nearly every day. In the schoolyard, in the alleys, on the streets, all the time by bullies. And I had to bail out a little black friend who was getting beat up and kicked around. And then I sent you in that video from last year, what's happening in Minnesota, where these thugs, a 30-member gang of thugs, are accosting both white guys and also South Asian guys, beat them up, lay them on the ground, and they all take turns jumping on them, laughing like a bunch of fool apes. This is disgusting, man. I'm lucky I'm not there. I would have broken up. I would have broken heads. I'm serious. Because that stuff is just ruinous to the black community. Ruinous.
They don't know. They're just being. They're so out of it now. They're just being. They've been taken out of it.
Well, this is why when I was a kid, I knew you had to knock sense into their heads. Winning a fight wasn't about defense or aggression. It was trying to wake people up. It was an act of love and grace, to teach them that, you're the devil, but I'm on the side of God.
Tough love.
And you're going to wake up. It's tough love, right? I'm here to wake you up that you can't go on like this, because if it wasn't me here on top of you, you'd be dead, and you know that. So, I'm letting you stand up and call me brother again, But if it was anyone else, you'd be dead. If it was one of your own kind, you wouldn't ever wake up. So, unfortunately, you got to be tough, and that's why I support the police in Minneapolis. I support the guy who sat on George Floyd's neck without hesitation. Otherwise, that guy would have gotten up, called on his friends, and some cops would have been killed there. So let's get real about what's going on. That guy was a dealer. He was a porn star, raping robbing black women. He was an evil character, drug dealer. Had criminal charges in Texas and Houston.
Crystal meth user, fentanyl. He was a drug salesman. We got him on video dropping 2 dime bags, or what looked like drug packets on the ground when they're pulling him over out of the car and putting him up against the building. Cops didn't even see it. Not exactly a role model for young blacks, okay? And they're elevating this guy, Yoshi.
He's an enemy of the black community.
He's antithetical to what blacks should be looking up to.
Exactly.
They're drawing him now in pictures with angels' wings. This thug, this 5-year ex-convict, who was put away for aggravated armed robbery.
Right.
And they're putting angel wings on him?
He's a sadist, The man's a sadist, He would threaten black women and beat them up, and take their money from women. He's a sadist and a coward. He wouldn't rob men. He'd rob women. This is a horrible person, That's a role model of black community. I hate to say it. Go back to Africa. I'll be the first to say it. That's what you want. You belong in Somalia. Ask Ilhan Roman to give you a letter of recommendation to go to Mogadishu, where you belong. You do not belong in Minneapolis, okay? You hear what I'm saying, right? And you just
there's 250,000 Somalis in Minneapolis, and you don't think that they were out there rioting and burning and looting?
Sure.
And the rest of America's blacks paying the price for that.
This is a jihad. This is a jihad. And this is a total jihad. And proof of that happened in New York. These 2 lawyers, one black and the other Pakistani, tossing Molotov cocktails at a police car, and they hired this white criminal. She was just a riffraff criminal from up in the Catskills, and they paid her to throw a Molotov cocktail at a police van with 4 cops in it, and one of the cops caught on fire. This is like insurrection. This is insurrection, and the thing is, they're all naturalized U.S. citizens. Unlike me, I'm a born U.S. citizen. Okay, they're naturalized U.S. citizens. They weren't born here. Man, when a naturalized citizen does that, and it's an act of insurrection, and it has to do with the Islamic Jihad, they should be tried on grounds of treason and hanged. They should be hanged, okay, by the neck till they die, and their parents should be, forced to pay for everything, pay back the federal government, pay back everything for the damage done, and then go back to where they came from. Get the heck out of this country. This is treason, and they're saying, we're going to tear down the Confederate monuments and all that. Those people are worse than Confederates. Confederate rebellion was a disagreement over the Constitution, first of all, states' rights, and it was about slavery. And to riot in Minnesota, this state was never free. It was always a free state. It was born as a free state. That's where the escaped slave Dred Scott escaped to. And
That's
Minnesotans,
right.
They volunteered somewhere like thousands. I mean, many thousands. Out of proportion numbers to the Union side. They were the backbone of the Union Army at Gettysburg. And they lasted out through the whole war down in the South. So these are the people who liberated slaves, and this is how Minnesota is treated.
In history, that's amazing. Okay. All right, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on. We'll be right back. Virtually the whole. Okay, and we're back with Yoichi Shimatsu. This is very important information, and for those of you who watched the rioting in Minnesota, in Minneapolis in particular, and didn't understand that what you were seeing were a hell of a lot of blacks from Somalia out in the streets, rioting and running around like just a bunch of insane Stone Age savages. That's what you were seeing. That's exactly who those people were in many cases. And when they come over here under the United Nations Refugee Resettlement Program, I know many of you remember the video of the whistleblower who explained how they're literally picked up off the streets in Mogadishu, put on planes, flown over here with the clothes on their back, given everything free for life, I'm keeping the story short, here in this country, and all they have to do every day is hang out, walk the streets, beat up people, and in this case, they're used, once again, used by international Zionism. That's what it's all about. It's an old, old story. This is a color revolution, another attempt. And if they have, Yoshi, a couple of snipers up there at the next major rally, and they shoot 4 or 5 cops and kill them, shoot 4 or 5, 10 demonstrators and kill them. In other words, what they did in Kiev, Ukraine, they shot both sides, and they triggered an enormous riot. It's
definitely coming, yeah. Okay.
They could
it's
do
definitely
it.
coming.
Yeah.
Well, let's get a little bit more into the detail, how deep they are into the system under the Obama administration. Person I blame for this whole thing, people I blame are a Muslim hardliner named Barack Hussein Obama and Eric Holder, okay, and John Brennan. They're the ones behind this riot, and we're going to prove it right now. Okay, we're going to prove it right now. Okay, 2 people were arrested, 2 lawyers were arrested in the Antifa movement, throwing Molotov cocktails at police cars in Brooklyn, okay? One was Colin, he's got a strange name, Colin Ford Mathis, young black guy, lawyer, and his good friend, Pakistani, they're both American citizens, Pakistani-American citizen, a woman named Ruz Rahman, okay? They were caught. They were seeing security cameras. She tossed up the cocktail. He was loading it, okay? It was in a Diet Coke bottle and threw it inside a police car. And then, again, there was another woman down the street, this white woman, who they hired, who really tried to murder the police. They cut and ran, and then they were caught up with and arrested. Turns out he was a lawyer with a major Jewish law firm, okay? In New York City, and then she is a human rights expert at a women's charity, okay, and she's also trained in law. Now, what it is, they were immediately bailed out, on the night they were arrested. This woman came down, with whatever bail, massive amount of bail for doing this, named Salma Rivzi, R-I-V-Z-I, Salma Rivzi. She hugged Rahman, and said, "Oh, this is my best friend. She was my college roommate. This is the person I depend for all solace and comfort." Okay, who is Salma Rivzi? Well,
and look under Yoshi's name in guests. You'll see the link there.
Yeah, this hasn't written up yet. This is coming, man.
I've got the link at the Wakanda spy who bailed the 2 terrorist lawyers.
Okay, good. You did? Okay.
I got
you did post it. Very good, very good. She went to Johns Hopkins, okay, and they were in school together there. Then she was financed to get a master's at Georgetown Foreign Service, in the Georgetown University, the Foreign Service program, to be in the diplomatic corps, okay, and in the State Department. Guess who financed her? Rivzi, the woman who bailed them out.
Tell me.
Hello? Paul and Daisy the
Soros kids.
The Paul and Daisy Soros Foundation is behind this. The Jewish Islamic Jihad link. Okay? Do we understand what's going on, folks? They don't have to agree to each other. All they have to do is they agree to hate America. Okay, and destroy America. That's the only thing they have to agree on. America's the only thing like pushing for Palestinian rights. No, they've got to destroy America, okay? America's blocking them in Somalia from taking over and killing everybody and establishing a dictatorship. So anyway, Salma Rivzi, she got her start in government under the Obama administration because she lived in Laurel, Maryland. And what is in Laurel, Maryland? Fort Meade, the headquarters of the NSA. So her father was a translator for the NSA, probably sent by the Pakistan Intelligence Service. Do you understand what we're talking about? The Awan brothers thing, cooked all over again. Cooperation between ISI and, the Obama intelligence operation. Okay? Then, so basically they're setting up sleeper cells with the Awan brothers and the Awan family inside the House of Representatives, and they're setting up sleeper cell inside the heart of the NSA, which listens in, tracks the money and all that of the Islamic terrorist operation. She's on the inside, okay? And she's the one who's was the first head of the Muslim cultural employees group there to sensitize the Muslim employees of the NSA.
Sensitize
so we got
them.
sleepers.
Yes, sensitize them.
She's the one vetting them. She's placing all the sleeper agents inside the NSA and the State Department and all that. All right? So
her name is Salma. Just for our listeners, her name is Salma. S-A-L-M-A-H. Last name is
S-A-L-M-A. Salma, and then Rivzi.
Oh, no H on her. Okay. All right. R-I-Z-V-I. Rizvi.
No, R-I-V-Z-I. Salma Rivzi. Her bio is there. Big. She was she was one of the youngest NSA staffers, promoted up there, and now we find out, she's the one who came over in a hurry that night, because it was that night she had to rush over. She couldn't send her front person over, right, a lawyer.
She went personally.
COV. She had to go, COVID, right? She couldn't, the whole city, this social isolation. So she had to run down there and give them the money. They were rearrested. When the police found out, they looked up, oh my God, the police were stunned in Brooklyn, Look who bailed her out, okay?
Got it.
These people were supposed to have, in other words, a woman with a security clearance was bailing out these people who were throwing firebombs. Highest level security clearance. That's why I say this is like the smoking gun of the Barack Obama Islamic penetration.
I sense another
he's a traitor.
The
former president is a traitor, and he's a killer now. How many people died on American soil because of this man just now, this last week? He's got to be put away. I think we shouldn't hang him. Oh, he deserves it. He should be put on the Aleutian Island somewhere in solitary for the rest of his life. Okay, somewhere off the coast of Alaska. That's where he belongs. As an example to all other Americans, this is what you do when the people put their trust in you, and you betray us to our worst enemies. The people who did 9/11 and so on, okay? People who are killing off American soldiers all around the world. I don't support those wars, but we're in them because of provocations by these elitist Muslims and these elitist, filthy rich Jewish tycoons are doing this to run down the United States and ground so they can loot the place. That's what it's all about, and take all the assets American has abroad. So this is the real agenda, folks. This is not about just a few gangsters. This is a massive, subversion campaign that turned out to all-out insurrection, and it's going to end up in a civil war unless people decide we got to prosecute these people. Some people have to be hanged from the neck or shot. The lesson has to be served, and the black community, all the hip-hop guys, should be there to watch the execution and say, you want to support Muslims? Step forward, boy. Show your true colors. Okay? If you're going to kneel in front of the flag, are you going to kneel at the American flag? Or are you going to stand up and be on that flag? Because if you don't, go up there and join. Go up to the wall and join these people, that you love so much. Rather than your own country. And this gets me to Drew Brees' problem, this whole issue. I think the NFL should be shut down. I think it should be shut down. We should have a moratorium for about 5 years on American football. Clean out all these thugs and traitors. Just say you're getting paid 30 times the salary of an average American. For what?
Or more.
For just running around the field hitting people? Huh? Are you worth that money? You are nothing but ghetto trash is what you are. Get out of here. And when you get out of football, half of you end up as drug dealers anyway and thieves. They don't need your kind here. Get out. America's got to be a lot stricter. Other countries don't treat treason like this.
No, we've got no discipline. No discipline. Treason, just people look the other way now, and it's just outrageous what happens.
They feel sorry for traitors.
I know.
I can't believe this.
It's true.
Loyal people get shot to the ground. Soldiers could go abroad and disappear and be tortured. No one cares. Lifts a finger. VA hospitals are filled with people, lost their legs and limbs. And we feel sorry for the people who are causing this destruction.
They're pushed in the shadows.
America's not always right. I feel like America's not always right. We're not the right cause. But when push comes to shove, when the killing gets going, you have to stick together, or what kind of nation you're in. And the truth is, about the Confederacy, they were Americans, The this idea of, well, we should dishonor them and re-race them, that's ridiculous. They made a mistake, you know? And they are Americans who made a deep mistake, and they were honorable. Most of them were honorable. The way they fought, they showed their colors.
Robert E. Lee? Absolutely. Yeah.
They go around, massacring people and all that. They're honorable men. Most of them. There were some bad guys. They should be punished.
Bad guys on both sides, always.
There were bad guys. Andersonville prison. There were all these terrible things on both sides. But overall, it was a struggle over the interpretation of the Constitution, over, the issue of slavery. Minnesota, has a totally clear record on slavery. To riot in a totally, union state, never had slavery, opposed slavery from the inception until the end. To riot there is an act of treason, as far as I can see. It is wrong. Well, do that in Alabama. Go down there and risk your neck, okay? You know what I'm saying? Go down the south.
That's funny. That's a very good
it's
point.
True. Why are you picking up the capital, Washington? That's where Abraham Lincoln's headquarters. Why are you attacking Washington? Get down to the south. Go fight your battle against slavery down there, okay? And see what happens, okay? Because you guys are cowards. You're a bunch of cowards.
And also, Yoshi, they got to remember who sold them into slavery. What group? Who did it?
Charleston, South Carolina, still a Jew.
Yes,
Charleston, still a slave market was a Jewish market. The ships were Jewish. The money changers were Jewish. Come on, the plantations, half of them were Jewish. Benjamin Judah was a treasurer of the Confederacy, selling the cotton to the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds were using all American cotton, for the mills in Lancaster. So they can destroy the India's industries, destroy the textile industries of the world. So, it's always been the Jews exploiting the blacks. I give credit, to Louis Farrakhan and Malcolm X for pointing that out to the blacks. They were trying to wake them up. Who's your oppressor? It's not that white guy over there. Civil War is over. It's your Jewish slumlord. And I experienced that. I saw them come around black homes, threaten people. I was in Chicago working as a steel worker. In the middle of December, one of the coldest Decembers ever hit Chicago. They turned off the hot water for like 3 blocks around. These are kids and babies, we're freezing to death. So I led a rent strike. I set up an escrow fund because blacks didn't know what to do. I was a steel worker, so I was the only guy with any serious money then. And then I said, okay, we're going to appoint treasurer. You put the money in the bank, okay, the rent in the bank. It's all clear. And, they caved in after about 3 weeks. They realized the money wasn't coming. The money's in the bank. It's there. But they can't access it. So they caved in, turned on the heat. Now the last time they tried that dirty trick, which they did every winter, apparently.
What a story.
These are the Jewish tactics. Squeeze the black people,
Yeah.
And the black people, unfortunately, that's what caused the Watts riot. All the slumlords and all the shopkeepers were Jews who cheated the blacks. You go to a local market, that food was rotten.
Of course.
Used TVs, and charging.
Slumlords. Kushner. Come on. Yes.
Squeezing black people, and then, posing as white people. And then white people so in our neighborhood, a white person came around driving, the black kids go out and throw rocks at him. I tell them, that's not your landlord. That's just someone who got lost, This is L.A., this is Hollywood, And don't stone these people. And these kids didn't understand. They had so much hatred, from not being able to eat properly and all that.
They just don't know who's doing it to them. They're
too ignorant. They haven't seen the world. They're penned in and they're starving. And they're not starving anymore. Things have changed. That's why I say rebellion might have been justified in the mid-'60s. It's totally unjustified now when blacks have every kind of
$500 shoes, $1,000 phone in their pocket.
Absolutely. Exactly.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. They're driving nice sports cars and all that. So, come on. This is all from the federal and state budget and city budget. It's from other people. And, money's coming from white people, guys. I hate to tell you that. You ain't working a lick. And our white people are working a job, 60 hours a week. And they're paying for you guys, You're the kings here, But that's why I feel really seriously, they don't like it here, go back to Africa, and see how you like it in Nigeria. See how you like it in Mozambique or in Zimbabwe. Go to Zimbabwe, see how they treat you.
Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Oh my God! They won't survive 2 days there with all the diseases. So I say they should all go. Just get out of here. You don't like the United States, most generous country in the world? Where else has any group of people treated so fine by their government? Nowhere. Whole history of socialism. You find me one country where people of that country, the mainstream people, were treated as nice as black people are treated here. You show me one place in the world. Nowhere in Asia, of course. Poor people are really poor there, but they work hard. They don't have this attitude. Oh, they owe me. They owe me because of slavery. Well, you show me.
They want trillions of dollars in slave reparations. It's
and I tell them, okay, where's my 40 acres? What happened to your 40 acres? Okay, never mind the mule. You can keep the mule. You know how much 40 acres is worth today in American soil, blacks are arable.
Yep.
They gave you a fortune. They gave you millions of dollars. What'd you do? What'd your ancestors do it? Drink it away? Gamble it away? Okay? So don't blame Uncle Sam. Blame your grandpa. Okay? That's the guy to blame. It's your own family problem. No, it's not the national problem. You all got.
But they're never accountable, Yoichi. It's always someone else's fault. They're taught it's a reflex. They project everything on other people, especially whites. Never do you see blacks writing against Jews. Don't happen.
Well, this is the ghetto mentality, and that's what the Jews have in common, too. They were children of the ghetto, too, blaming the rest of the world, blaming everyone else except their own criminal mentality, okay? That's what the blacks and Jews, that's why in the end, all the criminals get along, and that's what we're seeing, the terrorists and the criminals are all banding together against the United States. They don't like the idea that other people have discipline, they have work, they work, they have a value system. A lot more Christians would say hate, and then, that's why these blacks are converting to Islam. They hate Christianity, the idea of charity.
It's true. That's an important point. It's a very important point.
They believe in dictatorship. The big, powerful guys take from the rest, LeBron James, he deserves $1 billion. This little guy playing basketball on the street, but he dreams about being LeBron James. What kind of social value system is this? The dictatorship of the brutes.
That's what it is.
Planet of the Apes. It's the Planet of the Apes. The gorillas are king, and the chimpanzees are nothing. They're the slaves. So this is, if black people continue on this direction, man, especially after the civil rights movement, all that was done by so many people in the past, and working together to bring justice to black people. The high tide of justice is long past. The water's going down because the rest of the country can't afford it, especially after this COVID crisis. The economy's busted. We cannot keep supporting black people living in style. Okay, no one can live in style. Okay. And then we're going to have to impose a tax on the Jewish tycoons, make them pay, make them work. This is a different reality, not socialism. It's just basically how do we keep a nation going, a nation of people going. And again, if those who do not want to belong to this nation, don't want to contribute to it, don't want to honor it, don't want to salute the flag, the answer is get the hell out. Go somewhere else and see how they treat you in Mexico. Okay? This is what, we have to quit coddling criminals, okay? And losers. We have to make demands on the black people. That's the only thing they'll understand. You go on your knee like that. Look, Pelosi went on her knee dressed like an African. They just mocked her and attacked her. Okay? Any people speak out for them, they attack them.
Howled.
Okay?
They howled.
You cannot support them because they think, all this guy. You get down, wash your feet, and get on your knees. They think you're a fool. Okay? There's no way to appease
they'll laugh the rest of their lives over that. Those cops on their knees washing their feet.
They'd be laughing as they're drinking stolen beer and just be laughing on the sidewalk, at all these dumbass white people. That's the way they look at it. You got to stop that. You got to start acting like you're a citizen. You got to expect everyone else to perform as a citizen. Drew Brees is absolutely right. His father's
that's the equality. The equality of citizenship that nobody talks about.
The whole thing, Kennedy said, don't ask what your country can do for you. It's what you can do for your country. And I want you to tell this one story that I mentioned. First time in history, okay, anyone has ever spoken about this. I made 2 films with Lonnie Deng on Japanese-American soldiers in World War II. And, so I knew them very well. One of the things they told me about, which they said, we never talked to this about anybody, but you're a filmmaker, but you can't put this in the film.
And these are Japanese American veterans of World War II. I got it.
Yeah, my father fought the whole American duration of the war, from Africa, Italy, Sicily, Italy, France, Germany, Munich. Then after the war was over, he went as a Pentagon civilian to Japan. You know?
Wow.
He said, I'm an American citizen. I'm going to fight for America. You know, the unit took more than 200% casualties, had more casualties than any unit in American history. That's including the Civil War. So,
447th, right?
Yeah, 442. Yeah, the 442nd
442.
Combat Regiment.
Yeah.
So we're on the outside in Italy, outside Anzio. Whole German division came out, and there's the Japanese American Regiment was there. Next to them was the 92nd Division. That's a very famous Buffalo Soldiers, all-black division, you know? They're like, 5 times as large as our regiment. German, you know, how the German artillery came in, they 108s and all that. You know, boom, boom. It was pretty deadly accurate stuff. We knew it. You knew it, you know? The black soldiers dropped their weapons and started running. This is the most shameful chapter of the history of the Buffalo Soldiers. They massacred a lot of Indians in the West. So this romantic Bob Marley idea, Buffalo Soldier resist, that's nonsense, you know. They were genocidal against American Indians. Then when it came to a real tough enemy, you know, the Nazi army and the SS, you know, and their Italian fascists, they cut and ran. So the German snipers just sort of picked them off, shot them back. Japanese Americans were stunned. They couldn't, and then after that, they despised these cowards. Okay. Then the German came on. There's only one regiment on the battlefield against the whole division. We held them. We didn't give up 1 inch of ground. The Germans were stunned. Yeah, they saw all these 1,000 black soldiers running away, and a few hundred Japanese Americans out there. You know, just fighting the Germans to the brutal. Yeah, the Germans backed off. That was the end of the offensive. So that's a true story. Because we believed, our families were in concentration camps in America. But this was based on, we're going to serve our country to earn the trust of our fellow Americans. It's not given. You have, in America, you've got to earn trust. You've got to earn your money, and you've got to earn your trust. You understand? In other words, this is like being on a football team. Like if you're playing with the New Orleans Saints, okay? Drew Brees is your quarterback. You don't talk shit to Drew Brees. Say, you're talking about the flag is total bullshit. Get the hell off the team. Get out of the NFL. Go find your job in the ghetto.